You're thinking, Dale, I've got my servers. What else do I need? Well, typically an attacker is going to go after one of your desktop machines first in order to make his way into your servers. So we're going to go through in this module here and look at how to install and configure your desktop virtual machines. Now those desktop machines are going to include Windows 8.1, Windows 7, and Kali. So we'll take you through one at a time, show you how to install those. The reason why we have Windows 7 and Windows 8.1 is to show you that the tools may or may not work on certain platforms, as well as these could be targets themselves and what you need to look at. Kali itself is actually just a operating system that is used for pen testing, and we're going to be using it to actually do the pen test. So after we install the OSs, we'll then go through and show you how to, just like our servers, we're going to go through and disable and enable certain features just so that it works the way that we want it to work in the lab, so you can see the demonstration or the theory. We'll also go through, you remember those user accounts? Yeah, I see you're getting hooked on some characters now, aren't you? We're going to go through and create those same accounts on these boxes. We won't create it on the Kali box. We'll actually just use a root account, and we'll talk about the root account briefly when we get there. And then afterwards, it's extremely important that you at least watch the housekeeping section. The housekeeping section, we've got some things we need to go through and do. Basically, it's making some snapshots to make sure that we can come back if we goof something up, as well as making sure that we reactivate all the machines so we get some additional time with those trial. Okay, so in this section, we're going to go through and actually install Windows 8.1 as a virtual machine. We're going to use this in the future courses to either be a target or to implement an attack. And so let's just jump right back into our Hyper-V manager. So you can see here we've got both our ethical hacking servers up and running. So I'm going to come over here and select I'd like to create a new virtual machine. Here comes our 4-hour wizard again. I'm going to call this one EH Windows 8.1. And I'm going to select to put this in a different location. We're going to back up here to my CEH project folder under my VMs. Select a folder, hit next. Again, a lot of similarities as we set these up as far as the same steps are concerned. We then are going to specify the memory. This one I might throw a little bit more RAM at just because I'm going to be running some apps on it as well as the Windows 7 box. So I'm going to throw a whopping 248 at this one. And I'm going to also hook it into my hacking network so it can communicate with those machines. And then again, here comes the virtual disk. It's going to create that VHDX file in the following directory structure area, and then specify the number, the amount of hard drive space. Again, just leaving the defaults all works perfectly for you here. And then I'm going to come in here and install this one again from an ISO, and that ISO is going to be, yes, thank you, Windows 8.1 trial. I'm going to hit next, finished. And now let's connect up to that bad boy and start her up so we can get her done. Okay, so the first thing is, again, confirming our language. We're going to go ahead and hit next. So I'm going to select to install now. Now, when we see Windows 8.1, a lot of people get confused or frustrated, and here's how I help you to get past that. I get it. I mean, I wasn't real thrilled about the interface initially as well. We refer to it as the Metro interface. Well, excuse me, officially we're supposed to call it the Modern UI interface. Let's go ahead and continue, and I'm going to continue talking to you while it still installs. We're going to specify again here a custom installation, select the total hard drive space available, and now we'll go down my lecture here of Windows 8.1. So they came out with this interface, and I get it. By the way, my idea, remember how Windows 7 was my idea? That whole marketing campaign? It was my idea. No, I'm kidding. My idea for Windows 8.80 and even 8.1 would have been, you know what, during installation, how about just ask the end user if A, this is a laptop or a tablet, and B, do you have a touch screen or not? And if you didn't have a tablet and you didn't have a touch screen, then it would just take you to the standard desktop. See, look, if Microsoft would just call me, I could save them billions. In fact, I should bill them. Now, so if you remember Windows 7, one of the coolest things about Windows 7 is that you can type what you want to do. And you'll see that, you saw that with Windows Server 2008. You're going to see me do this also with 07, or excuse me, with Windows 7, is that I just type. I don't go searching for things inside of the menu system. If you follow that same concept, you'll feel much more comfortable inside of Windows 8.1. Just type what you want to do, because the Metro interface is just an interface to get you to the same consoles that you're going to see popping up on you. Okay, again, this is going to try to install some updates, but again, we don't have internet access, so it'll just go through that quickly. Now we're going to finish up and reboot. And again, we're going to see the famous green line go across. You can select to restart now, or you could continue talking like I am to see what happens when the green line finishes out, or at least to show you how to do, huh? Okay, we'll let this reboot. Same concept here too. If you want to go ahead and eject that CD or that DVD, you can do that. That way there you won't see that press any key every time it reboots. It's doing a plug and play. It's getting ready. It's getting ready. Who's a good little computer? Get ready. Okay, so the first thing I get to do is choose my color sequence I want to use. Ooh, hot dog. Should we go with hot dog? Oh, no, hot dog doesn't have white or yellow. Remember hot dog? Anybody? We'll just, I'm going to take a conservative color here. We'll just do a little dark bluish. And we're going to give the computer a name. The name it'll be will be, obviously, Windows 8.1. I don't think it'll let me do a point. Nope. So just do Windows 8.1. I'm going to hit next. I don't ever use express settings, and this is just my rule in general with anything, because I want to know what's going on. Express settings is usually what gets additional toolbars loaded in Internet Explorer for you. Hey, you guys are all chuckling now, aren't you? You're like, yeah, no joke, Dale. Here's the network settings. It's asking basically if this is a public network or a known network, for example, a home or a work. And the reason for this is to find other networks, or excuse me, other devices and resources on the network. Yes, this is my work network, and it's going to actually go through and try to obtain an IP address automatically, but that's going to fail on me, and that's fine. I won't actually see that I'm a failure. Wow, I'm a failure. Yeah, folks, the jokes don't get any better. You're like, can I get a refund? Okay, so it's going through here and asking me as far as updates are concerned. I don't need to do any of my updates just because it's not hooked up to the internet. You can go through and just leave the defaults all across here. Here it's checking for my internet connection. I'm not going to have one. And the reason why it's looking for one is because Windows 8.1 likes to sync into or link into a Windows Hotmail or Outlook account, so that all your desktop settings and documents can be saved in the cloud, and then if you move to another machine, that information will be there. And because of the fact that I don't have internet access, I'm just going to create a local account. My local account is going to be, yes, the wonderful B. Wayne. And our password, again, is Batman. And our password hint. This is my favorite one, is the hints, because people put in things like hero. And of course, if you look at B. Wayne and hero, I bet you could probably socially engineer this password. Or better yet, people put in here things like birthday. Because, you know, nobody would be able to guess your birthday or find that out, right? So the password hint, I'm going to just leave it blank, actually, and hit finished. Oh, they won't let me. So we will put in something stupid here like hero. It's going to finalize our settings. Wow, how nice of them. They're going to go through and set things up for me. Hey, and I'm going to get a new app. And here I thought there was an app for that. And the colors are hypnotizing. Okay, yeah, let's start. Absolutely. Okay, so here's our desktop. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the annoying yellow background for myself. I'm going to come in here. I don't know, let's do something really crazy. And I'm going to select, I'm a big blue guy. I don't know why. There we go. Okay, so the other thing, and a lot of you guys are going, wow, Dale, that's so much less annoying. We're going to go through the same concept. We got to hook this into the network, and we can do this a couple different ways. I'm going to take the shortest way that I know of, and that is to come down here to the network adapter icon, right-click on it, and select to open the network sharing center. I'm then going to come over here to where it says the change change the adapter settings. And again, we have an unidentified network. We're going to go into properties. Hey, you've been here before, haven't you? Come into IPv4, and we're going to put in our IP address of 192. Dang it, stupid numlock. That almost sounds like a name I could call somebody, huh? Dude, don't be such a numlock. I'm going to do 192.168.0 dot. We're up to 20 now, correct? And again, we're going to do 192.168, whoops, 192.168.0.10. Remember, 10 is our 2012 R2 box. I'm going to hit OK. Again, I'm not going to get any identification on that network, but that's okay. Now, anybody remember what we do next? Turn off the complexity, Dale. That's right. So I'm going to do that through the admin tools. I'm going to hit the Windows key. And again, this is where people go, oh, crap, I don't have a touch screen. How do I navigate this stupid thing? Trust me, just type what you want to do. Let's see. I want to go into admin tools. Now, the first time, I will say this much, the first time you should let the server, or excuse me, the computer settle for a while, because it does have to go through and search and index both programs and applications. The first time that you do this, it may take a while. You're going to actually want to let the machine kind of settle, because it has to go through and index programs, documents, all kinds of things, services. And so that's why you didn't see it pop up really, really quickly. But here it is, my admin tools. And look, there's the same console we've seen everywhere else. So don't let the Metro interface throw you for a loop. Again, this was located, to turn off the complexity requirements, was located underneath the local security policy. And remember, it was under our account policies, under passwords. But guess what? It's disabled. So think about that one for a second. Yeah. In fact, look at this one. This is a fun one too. Minimum password length. Yeah. I kind of, this is my love-hate relationship right now for Microsoft, because this is the way desktop home PCs come. Passwords aren't necessarily required, and they can be 1 or 2 characters long. No complexity. I wish, and by the way, when you join a computer to a domain, you may not see this, because when the computer joins the domain, there's actually a group policy object, or what we refer to as a GPO, that comes down from that domain controller and configures it so that complexity is required, and configures all the other password length and password history options. So we don't need to configure anything here. Just be aware of that. Now, the one thing that Microsoft did do that was a big, huge security hole for us back in the XP days is that they said if any password was blank, that the account is now disabled. Back in the old days, the administrative account, its password was blank, and it was not disabled. Yeah, we'll talk about that one a little bit later on too. Okay, so that's been done. We're going to now come in here and change the computer name. So I'm just going to right-click on my Start button and select System. And I'm going to come to Change the Name. And you'll notice here, as far as the name is concerned, Windows 8.1, it's because we did this when we initially installed. So that was kind of one of the changes they did for us. So we're doing okay there. What else do we need to do? Lower the firewall, Dale. Okay, very good. By the way, you're all starting to sound like Mickey Mouse. I'm going to hit my Start button and just simply type in firewall. And there's my link to the firewall. And we're going to come in here and just, again, similar interface. Just turn off the firewall. And then we're going to go and create the new users, Dale. That's right. And I'm going to do this again under my admin tools. There's actually a couple different ways. I'll show both of them to you here. This is our admin tools, but we'll go ahead and go back into Start and type in users. And you notice here I have a link to a add, delete, manage your users. This is a full screen Metro app. And look, they're giving me a nice little, hey, you can put your mouse down here and see how things are done, but we're not going to do that. So I can create a user account from here. by selecting to create an account. The first user, we already created Bruce Wayne, so the next one we need to create is Grayson. Give him a password of Robin. And his hint will be sidekick. We'll hit next. There's his account, asks if it's going to be a child account so it can turn on some family safety features. This is only part of a home-based PC. Again, when you join the domain, you don't get that option. I'm going to hit finished, and you can see there's the account. Now, let me show you how to get rid of this interface if you don't want it. I'm just going to come up to the top. You notice how the window came up. And in Windows 8.1, they actually gave us a close button, thank heavens, or a minimize button. If you're running Windows 8, you can just come up here and I'm going to grab it by doing a left click and dragging down. And you drag all the way down to swipe it away, and that turns it off. So again, and trust me, if you've ever played around with Windows 8 on a tablet, it makes total sense. But on a desktop, I don't do a lot of swiping with a mouse. Okay, so that was one way of creating an account. The other way is coming here into the computer management inside of the admin tools. And you can just do you can create your user accounts however you want. If you want to do it through a PowerShell, by all means, feel free to go through and do that if you'd like. Here are my users. You'll see that Dick Grayson's in here. Bruce Wayne. Hey, look, it didn't allow me to put in his full name. We set that up. So we can come in and edit this one and put in his full name of Bruce Wayne. There we go. Oh, and Dick Grayson. Wow, that wizard didn't do very good either. His full name is Dick Grayson. So let's create a new user account just by right-clicking. Select a new user, and this will be H. Jordan, which is Hal Jordan. And his password is green because, yes, the Green Lantern, the first Green Lantern. Hit create. And then the next one is C. Kent, Clark, whoops, Kent. Password was super. Doesn't have to change. And we'll close that. Let's take a look here. Got all 4 accounts. Sweet. Okay, I'm going to want to go through and also turn off things like my screensaver. So we're going to go to screen. Again, just type what you want to do. Don't be afraid. Oops, saver. Turn it off or on. Oh, it's currently off. That's cool. And then I'm going to also just double check. I'm going to open up again. I'm going to type in, watch this, PowerShell. And I'm going to elevate this one up just for giggles. So you can right click and run as administrator if you'd like. Don't necessarily need to do this. I'm just going to, or you don't need to add it as, run it as administrator, but we're going to open up a PowerShell command. Prompt, I'm going to, again, change this up so you guys can see it when we're demoing. And we'll change our colors again. It'll be a black background, again, with our wonderful yellow text. And we're just going to simply do a ping. 192.168.010. Hey, we're working. And just for giggles, why not? 15. Hey, we're working. Okay, we're going to go ahead. I'm not going to exit this. I'm just going to clear the screen. And we're going to go ahead and minimize that. Okay, in this section, we're going to install our Windows 7 box. Again, we're going to see a lot of similarities here, except for there's a couple of configuration options we have to do before. The setup's going to go relatively easy, a lot faster though, because the virtual machine's already been created for us. Let me show you what I mean. So if you remember, we went and downloaded several different files that actually were a virtualized version of Windows 7 already. And we saved them to our CEH project folder. We went through and double-clicked and installed the, or not actually installed the installation program, actually just uncompresses these files into one big file, which we then had placed inside of this directory called Windows 7. And there it is right there. It's the Windows 7 VHD. Notice it's about 13 gigs in size. This VCM file, you can actually totally whack that one if you'd like. This is actually leftover from the virtualization that this was created for. This machine was created to run inside of Virtual PC. And we're going to have a little bit of a problem here. Well, not really a major problem, but it's something we're going to have to kind of jump through some hoops. And that is because the virtualization was based off of Virtual PC, there are some plugins that are installed on this virtual machine that we'll need to uninstall. And in order for this to work, what's going to happen is you're going to see the mouse will not work in the environment initially until we remove those add-ins for Virtual PC. And so it's going to be the first thing that we actually try to accomplish. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. And let's go ahead and bring up our Hyper-V server platform and go ahead and create a new machine. Let's go through our standard wizard here, create a new virtual machine. I'm going to hit next. This one's going to be called Windows Windows 7. We're going to store this in a different location than the default. Again, I'm going to just put this inside of CEH. Inside of my VMs, I'm going to hit select the folder, hit next. We'll take a Gen 1, assign memory. I'm going to bump this one up also to 2 gigs, just because I plan on running either the application, some of our hacking tools in the future here, either on the 7 box or on the Windows 8.1 box. I'm going to hit next. Again, I'm going to select to use the hacking network, hit next again. And here's where it's saying, hey, where do you want to create this VHD file, or in this case here, the VHDX file? Well, I don't want to create it because I already have it. So this is where I'd say stop, slow down. We're going to actually, in this case, select to use an existing hard disk. And you'll notice here that it's going to point directly to my Hyper-V machines, but that's not where it's located. I'm going to back up here to my D drive, come into my CEH project folder. Inside of Windows 7, there it is right there, that same VHD file. Remember, it was about 13 gigs. We'll go ahead and attach that, hit next, get our summary screen, hit finished. Okay, let's go ahead and fire this bad boy up. We'll connect up to it and hit actions and start. This is going to go a lot faster as far as the installation is concerned because there is no install. Somebody built up at Microsoft, built up these files, and pop, we're ready to go. See how fast that was to install? If only all Microsoft installations went this easy. Now, the downside here, folks, is that you'll notice my screen's a little bit smaller because, again, these are the extensions or the add-ins for Virtual PC. So you can see my mouse is not working. I can't click on anything. I can use my tab and arrow keys to navigate from here. You'll notice that the admin account is currently highlighted. If I use my right key, I have the administrator account highlighted. And of course, if I use my left key, I can navigate back. I can use my tab key to navigate to the accessibility icon in the bottom left-hand corner. If I hit it again, I'm going to go to my power button. Hit it again, I'm going to hit my up arrow key on my power button. Hit it again, and I'm going to go back to my admin account. We're going to go ahead and log in as admin. And the default password, we didn't build this. Well, I'm going to just show you what they did on this particular machine. I'm just going to type in a couple characters and hit enter. It tells me it's the wrong password. But look what they did with the password hint. Yeah, they actually tell you what the password is. And I've actually seen that in the real world, which is kind of scary. So I'm going to go ahead and type this in, PASSWORD1. And that should let me in. Now I'm going to see several things pop up here. I'm going to activate later by using arrow down and hit enter. As far as my activation is concerned, I'm going to tab over till I get to the OK button, hit enter. And it tells me I need to restart. That's actually the plug and play portion. I'm going to, well, I can't tab over. I've lost focus there. And that's okay. We're going to restart later anyway. My goal here is to get in and turn off the virtual PC files. So I'm going to hit my window key, and I'm going to just simply type in program, if I can spell right. And you'll notice about 4 or 5 down here, I've got my add remove programs. I hit enter, and it shows me a list of programs that I currently have installed on this box. So my mouse isn't working in this environment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tab key to tab until I see the Adobe Flash Player 10 ActiveX program highlighted. And there it is. It's highlighted. I'm going to now use my down arrow key to scroll all the way to the bottom to where it says Virtual PC Integration Component. I'm going to hit enter. The default when you're inside of the programs and features is that when you hit enter or double click on it, it's to uninstall. So that makes things a little easier here. So I just simply hit the enter key. I'm going to then use my left arrow key to select yes, I want to uninstall. Here's the UAC saying that, are you sure you want to do this because you're about to make a modification? Hit yes. And then finally it's going to say you need to restart. And thank heavens, yes, I need to restart, so I get my mouse back. So I'm going to hit yes. Okay, now you'll notice my display increased because Windows 7 is synthetic, meaning with Hyper-V, it passes through the hypervisor, it passes through drivers, both a mouse and display. That's one of the advantages of going to Hyper-V. I'm going to go ahead and highlight my admin and go ahead and log back in with our older password of password 1. And the first thing I want to do is create some consistency. First of all, I need to activate this later, but the consistency I'm talking about is I want to change the password for this account. We'll go ahead and close that. And the easiest way to do that is I can just simply come up here and throw a Control Delete. I'm going to change the password, type in PASSW0RD. I should say 0. Oh, I'm so used to the 0. Now I'm going to type in my $$ W0RD password instead. That doesn't look right. Hang on a second. Let me double check the top one. PASSWORD1. There we go. And then again, I'm going to do capital PA $W0RD. And we'll hit the little blue arrow. And my password was changed successfully. The next thing I want to do is let's check out the computer name. We're going to click on our start button, or the orb. It's the orb of knowledge. Right click on computer and go to properties. And you'll see here that the computer name for this particular image is Windows 7. And that's, I guess you could leave that, but I'm going to be a stickler here because I want things named exactly what they are, just for demos purposes. Now, I would never name a computer and in the name of the computer put in what OS it's running, because that's just going to make it easier for an attacker to identify the target. So do yourself a favor, don't call it 08 email server. Well, no. Again, go ahead, do that, and then let me know what your IP address is. I'll come visit you. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Tells me I need to restart. I hit OK again. I'm going to restart later because I've got several things I'm going to do. The next thing I'm going to want to do is go through and remember change our IP address. So I'm going to come into the Network and Sharing Center, and I'm going to change my network adapter. I'm going to right click, go to Properties, come down to IPv4. You've done this so many times now. You should know this by heart. We're going to do the IP address of, oh, check the numlock. Oh, sure, this time the numlock is already on. 192.168.0.25. We'll take the default subnet mask, and again, the DNS server will be that 2012 R2 box, which was 0.10. Hit OK, OK. What else do we do? Well, we need to go and disable the firewall, so I'm going to just type in firewall. We'll come in here and turn that bad boy off. We'll hit OK. And we need to also change the complexity, or check the complexity requirements. Again, that's going to be in our admin tools under our local policy, our local security policy, under account policies, password, and of course, again, it's disabled. Again, my scary configuration that Microsoft gives us. So we don't need to worry about that. Let's go and create our accounts. Again, I can come into my admin tools under computer management. I have my local users and groups. And I'm going to come in here, just right click, new user. Username is going to be B. Wayne. That's Bruce. And his Batman was his password. We have D. Grayson. Does that have to change? Again, the password was Robin. Then we had H. Jordan. His password was green, all lowercase. And then we had Mr. Kent. Oops. His was super. And closed. Let's go ahead and sort those. Yep, got my 4 accounts. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is, we'll go ahead and close these down. If by chance you get the error popping up from the Action Center, we can open these up and, for example, the firewall, I can go through and say, you know what, I don't need to see errors about the firewall anymore. Same thing with spyware, same thing with antivirus and Windows updates and my backup. I don't need to do anything with my backup. That way there I don't see those errors popping up down there. Okay, my last thing I need to do is I need to change this operating system so that it says that it's genuine, because right now the trial period has expired. Now we do this, and you can do this on any machine where the trial has expired on you. I'm going to open up a command prompt. It does have to be elevated, meaning I have to right-click on the command prompt. I typed in CMD. I'm going to come down here to where it says Run as Administrator. I'm going to hit Yes. And again, we're going to make this biggie size so we can see it. And I'm going to simply type in SL MGR. It's technically a VBS script, but you don't need to put that extension in. And this is for the Server License Manager application. And we're going to do a rearm. This is going to rearm it. If it was a 120-day eval, it would give me another 120 days. If it was 180 days, it would give me another 180 days. If it was a 30-day product, it would give me another 30 days. Again, you can use this. As far as I know, I've used it since XP. And when you use it, you can only use this command 3 times. After the 3rd time, when you try to do it a 4th time, it'll tell you that, nope, sorry, we're not going to continue to allow you to use this operating system because you've obviously had it for a really long time. So I'm going to hit Enter. It tells me that it was completed successfully. If by chance you see an error here, something about the fact that you don't have permissions to do it, it's because you did not open the command prompt with an elevated privilege. I'm going to hit OK. It tells me I have to restart. So let's do that, because that should also affect my name change. We'll do a restart. You can see all the accounts now listed. We'll go ahead and log back in as admin with our password of $$$W0RD. And now you'll notice that it's too legit to quit. That's right. Here at Pluralsight,